Hi girls, here is your French assignment for term 4. This is just an explanation for you. I will explain every process in class and give you a hard copy of the assignment when I see you. So as you can see, this assignment is titled Je fais la cuisine. So it's all about cooking and exploring francophone countries. So countries where French was or is currently spoken in the world. The assignment's been divided up into 4 sections, okay? So you've got part 1, part 2, part 3 and part 4. Part 1 is due at the end of week 1 next term, part 2 is due at the end of week 3, and part 3 and 4 are both due in your last French lesson in week 4 of term 4. So you will be given a francophone country by your teacher, okay, and you will start to research this country using books and internet resources. So the presentation of the task is to present all of your information in a plastic sleeve folder. There are lots of different parts to this assignment, so we've created a checklist here for you to use as a guide and to tick off each section as you complete them. I'm going to start with an explanation of part 1, which is due at the end of week 1 next term. You will be given time in the library to work on this, so you can either start a little bit now or wait until next term and then start the other sections if you wish. So part 1, you need to include a title page, complete the country fact file sheets and include a labelled map of Australia, France and your francophone country. A map has been given to you as a hard copy. There's also one attached in this document. I will now show you the country fact file sheet. This has been emailed to you. You need to make a copy and put it into your French folder. Once you have completed it with all the information necessary, print it off and put it into your display folder. So you need to, using internet resources or the encyclopedias in the library, complete the table below. So I'm just scrolling down so you can see everything that needs to be included. With regards to name and describe 2 traditional dishes from your country, these do not have to be the same ones that you decide to cook. Okay, page 3 of the country fact file sheet. The first question is to state the internet users per 100 people. This information is in the encyclopedias in the library. So you will write the number of your country here, Australia, and then France. For the rest of the table, you actually need to write out the percentage of girls educated in primary school in the 3 countries, secondary school, and then of boys in primary and girls in boys in secondary. To find this information, click on the UNESCO link on page 2 of the fact file sheet. So I'm demonstrating how to do this now. Okay, so where it says view profiles and regional and country profiles, click here. Now type in the country that you are looking for. So, for example, Cameroon. A country profile will open up and you can see here there is information on education, literacy, science, technology and innovation and culture. What we're interested in for your country fact file is in fact the education and the availability of education in your country and Australia and France to provide a comparison. So in the country fact file sheet, the first thing you're expected to write is the primary education available to boys and girls. So if I go back here, okay, percentage of girls educated in primary school and percentage of boys educated in primary school. So if we go back to Cameroon and we look at the net enrolment rate as indicated on the fact file sheet, go to female total. Now the most recent data available is for 2012, so I'm going to go with that. It's 85.7%. So what you would do is you would type 85.7% in the box with the date next to it. If I then go back to find the percentage for boys, male 96.9%, and I would type that here for 2012. So whatever the most recent data available, type that in, okay? You then need to scroll down to find secondary education for females and males. The most recent data is for 2013, so in this case you would write down that data in the spaces provided. So essentially you go back and you would type in Australia next time and then France and find out the same information for each section. I'm now going to go back to the assignment and show you part 2. So part 2 is planning a meal using dishes from your country. So you need to cook for your families. It's okay if you ask for help. So you need to prepare an invitation that you will hand out to your guests at the dinner table. This invitation needs to be written in French and a template has been provided to you. You are only expected to hand in one example of this invitation. Now I'm going to scroll down. This is all in your booklet. Here is an example template of an invitation, okay? So first of all, you write who you're addressing the invitation to. There are 3 ways of saying dear. Cher. This one here, C-H-E-R, is for masculine singular. So for example, to your father or to your brother. The middle one is for a female, or for example, chère famille, dear family, as family is a feminine noun. And the last one is if you're addressing the invitation to more than one person. So for example, cher Marie, Paul, Léo, et Nina. Here I invite you to dinner. Je vous invite à dîner. Date. So write out a date. For example, I've put le 20 octobre 2015. The time, à 7 heures. So here, you just need to put at, a number, for example, 7, and the word heure, which means o'clock or hours. Lieu is the place. So for example, you might just say at our place, chez nous, and then RSVP with a date. Okay, I'm just going back up to part 2. So once you've prepared your invitation, you need to design a menu in French and in English to hand to your guests. This is displaying your 2 dishes that you've decided to cook and that you've researched that reflect your country. There should be 2 courses chosen from either entree and main or main and dessert. If you wish to cook a 3-course meal and include drinks, that's absolutely fine. Down below is a template again of a menu. Okay, so the word for menu in French is la carte. And here you can use this as an example. So I've got the French and then English below. Entrée, entree, with the name of the dish, and a price. Make sure though that the symbol of the currency reflects your country's currency, so it might not necessarily be the euro. Plat principal, so main dish. Again, list the dish underneath with the price. Or if you've got a dessert, dessert, again, list the dish with the price. And you may like to include boisson, drinks or refreshments for your family. Remember, you only need to serve 2 courses. And you can also use wordreference.com as a guide for translating vocabulary from English to French and vice versa. So that's part 2. Okay. Part 3 is due week 4 of term 4. So once you've decided what you're going to cook, you need to make a shopping list of the ingredients. Write the title Liste de courses shopping list, and you must include 5 ingredients written correctly in French. The rest can be written in English. Once you've decided to prepare and cook the meal, you need to take step-by-step photos of you cooking. So you may like to ask someone to help you with this process. You must include a minimum of 5 photos labeling the process. So for example, mix the 2 eggs and 1 cup of flour, then stir the ingredients, and so on. Once you've finished your meal, take photos of your table setting and of your guests enjoying themselves and appreciating your cooking. Again, you must include a minimum of 5 photos and labeling these photos using the correct family vocabulary and possessive pronouns. So for example, mon père, my father, ma grand-mère, my grandmother, and so on. Part 4 is a comparison. A scaffold has been given to you. You need to compare your life now to the life of a Year 8 girl living in your Francophone country. So you may decide to write about food, education, housing and chores, employment, travel, and any other experiences that you think would be good to make a comparison of. At the end of your assignment, you need to include a bibliography showing a minimum of 5 sources of information that you've used for this whole entire assignment. If I go down, you can see the scaffold for the comparison. And lastly, assessment tasks and assignments, writing a bibliography, and the process you need to take for this. Good luck, girls, and please ask me any questions if you need any help.